Yeshua said that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. And if we know the truth, we shall be free indeed. I've been taught that the 613 or the 613 is the law of sin and death, and it's the schoolmaster. I think that's plain. That's the schoolmaster that was talked about by Shaul or Paul, and it's what was nailed to the cross. It was given because of transgression, and I have. Actually, I wanted to preface with this. If you're stumbling across this, you look at the modern Christian church, the modern Christian church, or church, and it looks so worldly. You can't tell the difference. It's because, you can't tell the difference between it and the world. It's because, we receive, and I've also been taught that, His grace, our Father in Heaven's grace is poured out, or He poured out His grace in abundance on, these are times that, I'm trying to recall scripture, and I'm still learning, family, but there's a time that, and see if I can even rehearse it well enough to, I wish I could rehearse it. There was a verse, and forgive me for not being able to rehearse this well enough, but I still want to mention it. There was a time when our Father allowed ignorance, and this is to the effect of, there's a time when our Father allowed ignorance, but now, that's not the case, but we receive the spirit of grace that we, that's our conscience, but if we are obedient, then we receive the spirit of truth. But the fact of the matter is you look at people that go to Sunday church, Sunday church service, and it's a feel good thing, but they don't go any further than that. I'm not going to sit and say that's milk, but if they're even willing to go as far as read the Bible for themselves, they're not willing to come to terms with it. We know when Saturday is, and Saturday is the day of worship, the day that we should be congregating and not doing our own pleasure, but I think in history there's a day that's recorded where they attacked the Jews, and they obviously attacked them because it was Sabbath. It was their Sabbath, Shabbat 7, and that day corresponds with what today we call Saturday. So we know when Saturday, or when Shabbat is. It's our Saturday. I kind of lost my train of thought, but the thing is I was talking about the worldly church. The thing is, they're not. I kind of already expounded on it. You, by and large, it says enter through the narrow gate, because wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. It says, the harvest is plentiful, there's still many that will be saved, but by and large, I think, you look, people are more concerned with, what have you, with football. You know what I'm saying? I hate it. You should too. But, okay, so, but I was looking at, I was passing through, and I have this underlined, but I digress. I have this underlined, and I don't know exactly what I said previously to go with this, but this is Galatians 4:19. Wherefore then serveth the law? It was added because of transgression, till the seed should come to whom the promise was made, and it was ordained by the angels in the hand of a mediator. And we know that that's, and I think that's from how I read it, Moses, or Moshe, the mediator. But it's given because of transgressions. Wherefore then serveth law? It was added because of transgressions. I think that's talking about the golden calf. The 613 was given because of that. The 10 Commandments, there's two laws. The 10 Commandments and the 613. The 10 were laid in the Ark of the Covenant. They're, Yehoshua, he elaborated on them, and the royal law, to love our fathers, to do the 10 Commandments, and to love our neighbor is to teach them to do the 10 Commandments. But then I want to go to Galatians 4:22. For it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid, the other by a free woman. But he who was of the bond woman was born after flesh, but he of the free woman was by promise. Which things are an allegory for these are the two covenants. The one from the Mount Sinai, which gendereth to bondage, which is Agar. And I think, and forgive me if, I'm still learning, but seek, it's not a matter. I'm speaking as far as I know because, the rocks will cry out, but, search these things out for yourself. I was talking about how his yoke is easy and his burden is light. I think that's maybe going with this, talking about the two sons, by the free woman and by Agar. I think that's talking about the two laws. It's, you look, and I think I mentioned this already, but, the 10 Commandments are plain. If the world lived by the 10 Commandments, look at the world that we live in, and it's hard to argue against that, but, yeah, I wanted to close by, I guess, just freely speaking real quick. The thing is no, many people will not get any further than, a comfortable sermon on Sunday. And you look, a person won't, you look, and what's more important than our Father in heaven? So how can we not search things out? And then when you search things out, how can you not seek that for another? That's the wicked servant that hides. I forget the parable, but the thing is, we have a choice, family. We have a choice.